Hi, this is Pascal from MTNA. This video is to give you a quick overview of a dataset we just published in our Rich Data Services public data center. We recently found this dataset on the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services around provider of services, and this is data on characteristic of hospitals and other type of healthcare facilities that you can name, address, attributes, compliance, and other interesting variables. The dataset is made available as two different files. One that is what is called a CLIA provider, and the other one is all the other providers. CLIA stands for Clinical Laboratory Improvement Amendments, which is how CMS regulates laboratory testing performed on humans in the United States. And the other file covers other providers, such as hospitals, nursing facilities, home health agencies, etc. The CLIA data is about 500,000 records, the other about 150,000. So this is a typical situation where the data is made available in a CSV format, which means if you're going to have to use it, you will go through quite a bit of data wrangling in terms of reading the CSV file, understanding its structure, get the documentation, converting to your favorite format and this type of thing. So what we do, we take the CSV files, we do some quality assurance profiling, we build metadata around it. So it contains information about the variables, the classification, the codes, the provenance. Put all that together and then publish it through what we call Rich Data Services, which is a platform that delivers the data over an industry standard web services or API. So this is important because now everything is available to computer systems through a standard web services, and not only the data, but the metadata as well. So both the knowledge and the data are there together. So we did this work over these two files that took a few days of effort. And the result is kind of an enhanced version of the dataset available as a service. Now, this is the first version. There are a couple of issues we have identified in the dataset, which is very common when you start doing the type of things we do with the data. There's a few issues with some variables that need to be addressed, and there might be a couple of things we can supplement to make this dataset a bit more useful. But at this point, we want to release it and see if there is demand for it, and then we'll see where that goes. So Rich Data Services is an API. So basically, you can get the data as a service. That's not very easy to visualize. So if you go to our public data center, you can access a couple of tools. One is called the Explorer, the RDS Explorer. The other one is the tab engine. For example, if you go to the RDS Explorer here, I could go to a United States catalog, and you will find, for example, here, the CMS providers of services. So this UI, which is built on the web services, on the API, allows you to browse the different records, look at the data, see what is in there. You can see at the bottom right here, there's about half a million records. You can look at the data dictionary, and this is where the metadata becomes important. It's not only the data, but you have the variable, the description. I can go on these variables, get more details about the codes being used, and this is for all of them. I can search variables. And with this tool, for example, I could rapidly create a subset of the data and pick a few records, pick a few variables, and potentially just download this on my computer. I could also just call the API and interactively do this from my favorite application. So the Explorer is there essentially to look at record level data and understand the data, get your subset of it, or explore. The other tool you might want to use is a tab engine. So this is another view of the data, but more at the aggregated level. So the same thing, I could go to United States. I could take this other file, select the data product, and now I can quickly create a table. Let's say I want to know how many other providers per state. So I will take the fifth variable, run a quick tabulation, and now this is the count of provider across the states. I could put another variable here, like the provider category code. And now I have the count of providers by category, by state. So this is obviously great and useful. It's important to see, though, that this is just one of the many things you can do on top of an API, such as Rich Data Services. I could make calls to the API to do visualizations, to integrate this type of information on my website, to do some analysis in R or Python, or do some machine learning, or combine this data with other things. And what's important here is that the API, the Rich Data Services API, provides not only the data, but with the metadata as well. So you get, in the single call, you can get all this information in one place. Some of these UI tools also will give you a hint about how to use the API. Here is an example of what the API call looks like. This is what you would do if you want to read this data table in R, just a few lines of code, and that's all you need. More information on RDS is available through our public data center at public.richdataservices.com, or simply on the Rich Data Services website. So do not hesitate to contact us should you have any questions, suggestions about this dataset, about RDS. What's important here is that we have transformed a very useful dataset, which is made available in CSV format, which is a traditional way to do it, into kind of a more modern way, which is making the data and metadata available concurrently through a web service, opening the door to a huge number of possibilities by making the data available to information system. So thank you for your attention. Hope this is useful, and don't hesitate to contact us should you have any question.